And welcome to another edition of PowerPlay 904. I am Mike, alongside the usual suspects, TCJ and TC, but an unusual suspect. The most suspect of them all, actually. Amish Mike. How are you, Amish?
I'm doing all right. Feeling a little better after the trade deadline with Tampa. I got some new confidence in them that they might do something.
Layoff push. TC, how are you?
I'm doing good, feeling good.
Oh boy, I bet you are. TCJ, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. A little tired, but I'm doing well.
He had a rough Monday and Tuesday, but he won't tell the story. So, I open up every podcast and say a lot has happened since we last recorded, but really, not that much happened since we last recorded because we recorded Saturday. But the deadline happened. The deadline. The biggest, my most favorite time of year, the NHL trade deadline.
Wonderful time of the year.
It is. You, sir.
That was beautiful.
We'll just get it started.
Hey.
Who you got as winners? Who's your winner? TCJ, I'll start off with you.
Oh, okay, that was quick.
What the hell, you want me to wait? I mean, we can talk about our days if you want.
I'll pass for now.
I would love to.
Come back to me.
Come back to you.
Come back.
I can't go to Amish because he's got to think about it too.
I got to think about it.
I'll go. I know what I want.
You go,
Great.
TC.
Great, we're starting off with this guy.
Just give me a minute. I got to type my
Don't slap
my
me.
script.
Personally, I think the Capitals won this trade deadline. The Shattenkirk trade was probably the biggest trade this deadline. And they, the reason I think, did you catch, hello?
Oh God! Oh no! This is why we start the podcast with him.
That connection.
Our pre-podcast show, or our pre-podcast meeting, or whatever we're gonna call it, his connection wasn't this bad.
No, it wasn't.
It was not as bad.
I didn't catch a single word besides Capitals and Shattenkirk.
Oh my God! Yeah. So what we're getting out of this is you think the Capitals won the deadline because that Shattenkirk deal. Is that right?
Right.
Give me a head.
Primarily because they made the trade and it didn't hurt them this season at all. They didn't have to give up anything this season. It's going to be in the future that it'll hurt them a little bit with a couple picks and prospects, but I think that trade only made them more of a contender for this year's Cup.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean,
they didn't give up a roster player. They didn't give up anybody that will play this season.
well, technically, that one of their players did play, I think, 15 games this season, but he didn't really play that well. So he's been back and forth in and out of the lineup.
And don't the Blues paying part of the salary for Shattenkirk too?
Yeah, the Blues kept, I think, 50% of the salary. I'm something along those lines.
Insane.
Yeah, that definitely was a big deal. It's interesting to see that the Blues, they backed off a little bit on the asking price because I was worried the Rangers were gonna blow their load on them and pick them up, but they didn't. But it did seem like the Blues lowered their asking price. Who's ready next? TCJ, Amish?
We flip a coin. Who's got it?
Flip a coin. TCJ, go.
All right. I will go with
The Sharks.
no. I would not go with the Sharks.
The Sharks do anything?
Yeah, they did. We'll get to that later.
Please don't.
I'll leave the Lightning so Mike can talk about them, or
Thank
Amish,
you.
whatever.
Don't say what.
I'll go with the Minnesota Wild. I know I was down on them earlier, but I think they've got some good prospects, and they really didn't give up any of them, and they added a guy like Martin Hansel who can help them this year, and they're mostly a veteran team, so it doesn't surprise me at this point that they're going, all in for this year. And considering how weak the West is this year, I think they did a pretty good job of bolstering their lineup for the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I think the West is a pretty open division, and anyone can win it this season. But Amish, what you got?
I think Tampa won the trade deadline. Exactly.
At least we can hear you.
You're right. But anyways, I think they had to make some tough decisions, and with what they had to do and what they got out of it, I think was a pretty good win. They had to get rid of Ben Bishop because what is he going to do, stay or get picked up in the expansion draft? So he got something rather than nothing out of him. And the big trade, and then trading Filppula away was a good move because now Tampa no longer has to protect him as a protected player and can save someone else. And that freed up like almost $5 million of cap space, along with dropping Bishop, more cap space. Which, to me, was great because now the Lightning can re-sign players like Johnson and Drouin and Palat and probably not have to give up any of them. Just maybe. Nothing, not concrete, but pretty confident they might be able to keep all three. And that right there will be great down the line for them for the future.
Yeah, TCJ, you stole my other winner besides Tampa, and Amish, you had my winner in Tampa. I do think that was just a great move. Everything that Tampa did this offseason was great. I was actually talking to some other Lightning fans that were freaking out about the deadline and said that their moves were just stupid. But to me, the way I was describing it to them is you basically just traded for Tyler Johnson and Andre Palat for the offseason. That's what you acquired for next season. And it's gonna benefit them so much in the future. Now, in my eyes, they just have to figure out. I guess Vasilevsky's going to become their number one, and he's going to be their guy. I'm not sure how safe of a bet that is, but I guess we'll see that in the future.
And Yzerman we trust.
Yeah, he hasn't let you guys down yet. But I brought this up in the pre-podcast meeting, the fact that this is the second time that Tampa has pulled off like a triple trade or a double trade, where they acquire someone and then not even 5 minutes that they trade him again. It happened. Mm-hmm. It was like last year or 2 years ago they acquired Sam Gagner and they
traded him
away.
So, I know. I remember that. I was like, oh, cool, we got Sam Gagner. That's pretty cool. And then 10 minutes later, he's gone. Okay. Well, that was quick.
This happened for a little bit. But I guess I'll start off with the losers real quick since you guys both took my winners. Losers of the deadline. I don't know if you guys have come up with losers. I'm kind of throwing you on the spot. We did not talk about losers. I think a loser of this deadline is my New York Rangers. I do not like the Brendan Smith trade. Wasn't great. My brother tells me it's not as bad as it looks. I'm trying to make it grow on me, but as of right now, I hate what the Rangers did at the deadline. I just don't understand why they would go after a guy like Brendan Smith when they already have a guy like Adam Glendening as a scratch every night in the lineup. I guess it is to add defensive depth, but it doesn't. I don't get adding that for as much as what they paid for him. I felt they could have at least went after someone better than Brendan Smith.
I could agree with that. He's a bum.
Yeah, the Wings perspective. Any of you guys, what do you got for losers? TC. TCJ, what do you got for losers? Is he frozen?
I was gonna go with not just the Colorado Avalanche, but just Joe Sakic I think he came out as a gigantic loser out of the trade deadline here. I generally think that teams are more desperate come trade deadline time because it's really like the last chance you can make. It's like your last chance to make a roster that you think can contend for the cup. And I think I really felt like he needed to deal Matt Duchene and or Gabriel Landeskog. But, I mean, now it just puts more pressure on him come, draft time. We'll see in June, July, and August where this goes. But I think Joe Sakic is a big loser.
Yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with you on that one. Joe Sakic really dropped the ball on that one, not trading really any of his guys that we were just freaking out about. Where's Duchene going to go? Where's Landeskog going to go? They didn't do any of those moves. Touch upon this real quick. What are your thoughts on that Jerome McGinley trade?
I feel bad for Jerome McGinley. Can I go with that? I was really hoping that he would be traded to somebody that would obviously be contending for the Cup this year. I don't really think the Kings are all that good this year, but just because I say this, just like watch them make the playoffs and do well in the playoffs, just to make me eat my words. But I was really hoping that McGinley would go somewhere where he would have like a bona fide chance to become a Stanley Cup champion. And I just don't think he's going to get that opportunity in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was worried about, too, that he wanted to trade to a Cup contender, and he didn't really get a trade to a Cup contender. He got a trade to maybe a hopeful, but that's as far as I'll describe the Kings. I mean, I feel like it's a very good fit for him because the way the NHL is going, everyone's becoming faster, and the speed of the game is just really picking up for everyone, and the Kings aren't one of those teams who have kind of joined that yet. So the Kings still play that style of the style of hockey where it's just dump and chase, bang bodies, and try to put the puck in the back of the net. And that I feel like that fits Jerome McGinley a little bit better than a speed game. TC, you have a loser.
I was gonna go with the Avalanche.
Man, TCJ is stealing everything.
So,
should I come back?
Yeah, come back to me.
Amish, you got a loser?
Yeah, I would consider the Kings a loser in the trade deadline. Like, I feel like they did not accomplish anything great for themselves. I mean, they picked up Iginla. I mean, he's old. I'm not sure what he's got left in him, but the LA lacks scoring, and they need that badly. And I didn't see them get anyone who can score goals. And then picking up Bishop, they already have Jonathan Quick, so now you have two number one goaltenders. Who's the starter? What are you going to do with one or the other? I don't think they accomplished anything that they needed for themselves to make a playoff push.
Now, what's Bishop's injury history? Do you remember any of his injuries in the past?
It comes down to groin injuries, I believe. I feel like he's just always, and it's always right around playoff times. Last year it was in the Eastern Conference Finals. The year before, Stanley Cup Final, and then the year before was the first round. So it's like playoff time comes and he's out, injury prone.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's good for Quick. They can rest Quick up for the playoffs if they can make it, and then play Bishop all they want in the regular season, and then when playoffs come around, have to throw Quick in there. That's interesting though, because I was thinking about that the other night. What?
Sorry, never mind. Keep going. Sorry.
What? You're raising your hand.
I was just gonna wait. I wanted to say something before you moved on to TC, but go ahead.
All right. Just give me like a minute.
All right. Just gotta jump in there.
All right, so that was what I was thinking though, that now they have two goalies who have had groin injuries before, and that's huge for a goalie. Like your groin is that's huge.
Yeah, you have to be flexible.
Goaltenders, what are you doing with that? I mean, I was listening to Daryl Sutter the other day. He was saying you never have too much depth at goaltender in the playoffs, especially when you need it. But I mean, at this point, I would have definitely tried to attack, go after like a good scoring forward, but that they didn't. You're right.
Yeah.
They did not do what they needed to do. It was kind of similar to what we were talking about in the pre-podcast meeting about the Dallas Stars. How it's no surprise that they're the biggest need is goaltending, and they've never addressed it. Like every season, it's goaltending, and their team doesn't address it, and they didn't address it in this deadline.
Mm-hmm.
It just amazes me, and the Kings are in that same position where it's like, are you going to address your need, or are you just going to keep picking up players you really don't need? All right,
Right.
Jimmy, what do you got?
It's funny you mentioned this.
Oh, whoa, yeah,
It's funny you mentioned the Stars because what?
All right, so what I was gonna say was that.
What did you even say?
All right, so what I was gonna say was, I thought the.
Oh my god! Oh,
Well-
I'm sorry.
This is a disaster.
I have to turn around and
Oh my
sit
goodness.
there. That
Hey.
TC, start typing what you want to say, and we'll say it for you. Like, at this point, that is just, oh man, that's amazing.
All right, so what I was gonna say was that I thought that going into the trade deadline, the Kings' needs were depth scoring, because a lot of their scoring depends really on like Jeff Carter and like Tanner Pearson.
And just Jeff Carter.
That's
Yeah.
really it. So
And just to chime in real quick, I believe LA they average only less than 2.5 goals a game. That's hard to win.
Stat checking that. Ooh.
yeah,
They're struggling on offense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I would love
Yeah.
to see their record in games where Jeff Carter doesn't score a goal compared to when he does, because I mean he's by far in a way like their best scorer, and everybody else has just played terribly this year. Like Kopitar has not played well this year. So I really thought that going into the trade deadline, they would really desperately need some forward depth if they wanted to make a playoff push and actually do some damage in the playoffs. And so just to see them acquire Ben Bishop for the guy that had pretty much saved their season, and to trade for the living corpse of Jerome McGinley.
The living corpse.
But yeah, I think the Kings are a big loser there.
I like it. So TC, can you type your loser and try and say it at the same time?
I'm gonna try to say it first and see how that goes.
Okay.
It was fun. You mentioned the Dallas Stars because
Dallas Stars?
they are going to be my losers for this trade deadline. There aren't too many one-sided trades this season. I already hit on the one that I thought was the big one. No, well, the Dallas Stars, the reason they are my losers is they didn't back any of the goaltenders that were available.
Could have had
There were
Bishop.
plenty of goals, and they didn't turn up. Now, maybe they are planning for the off season this summer and trying to pick up a goal in the agency to sell all these players. But I feel like that's at some point something that they got to address, and I don't think they haven't made any sort of move whatsoever.
Yeah,
You got something in mind?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really, really, like, you were lagging a little bit, but you actually made a really, really good point that I wanted to bring up. That goaltending, they did make a move at the deadline for goaltending, And do you guys get the same feeling that I get that this deadline, there really wasn't a big market for goaltending? No one who needed goaltending, or there wasn't that many teams that actually needed goaltending. Because Calgary didn't need goaltending.
They were buyers. There were goaltenders available. They just weren't buying. That's why Bishop went for.
There were no teams that actually
needed. And that's why I don't think the Flyers were like, let's trade Neuwirth or Mason. And they ultimately signed Neuwirth. I don't know why.
Do you think they're going to get rid of Mason in the offseason? I read today that they are trying to lock up Mason too.
To see him walk, but I think it all depends on where they think Stolar's development is. If they don't think Stolar's is ready to be a backup at least, then I think they might sign Mason to a 1-year contract extension, or maybe they'll match his Neuwirth's 2-year extension, or not extension, but his 2-year contract. Well, I guess it is an extension, but we saw earlier when Neuwirth went down with an injury, they brought up Stolar, but only used him when they absolutely needed him. So I don't think that they think Stolar is ready yet to even be a backup. So I think that's the next progression is to have one of those goalies and Stolar as the backup, and then wait for Carter Hart to be or Felix Sandstrom to be the franchise goalie.
Yeah, definitely.
We're looking at.
Yeah, I definitely I somewhat understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but the lagging was there. I just want to point out though that Michael Del Zotto is the biggest piece of shit in the league right now. I was just watching the highlights of that Flyers game, and this guy threw a fucking punch at Jaromir Jagr. A punch. Like he was trying to drop the glove with Jaromir Jagr.
You can't do that.
At that point when I was watching, the Flyers players were trying to jump Michael Del Zotto for what he was trying to do. They were like, hey, you can't do that. And they were jumping him.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it from Del Zotto last season. He had a good season last season, but this year it's been...
What a big piece of shit.
Not good. I don't know.
What a turd that is.
I don't know. I think the whole exciting time in the offseason too, or not in the offseason, a deadline, but
so
whatever. We'll live with it.
So my next trade deadline, this podcast is really focused on trade deadlines. We'll get into some predictions in a little. But my next trade deadline question, springing on you guys, what deal that was made do you think we're gonna see throughout the rest of the season that really, I don't know how to word this. TCJ, can you word this for me? Do you get what I'm saying? What I'm saying?
Can you translate, Vinny?
What deal is gonna pay off the most?
Okay, so if you're saying if we were looking at this at the end of the season, what do we think? Looking back, do we think made the most impact on the season?
Bingo! He's going to Florida for journalism. That's why I asked him. There it is.
There you go.
Here you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. So yes, looking back at the end of the season, what do you think? What's going to be the biggest deal?
I mean, I got two candidates. There's obviously the Kevin Shattenkirk deal. Clearly, the Capitals before that were already the big favorites in the East, and after that, they're, I don't know, an even bigger clear favorite in the East. Not to say that I don't think anyone else in the East can compete with them. Obviously, the Penguins, the Blue Jackets, and those two are probably the two most likely candidates to give the Caps a hard time. But I mean, I think Shattenkirk definitely puts the Capitals well within Cup talk. And the other one, this is probably just because of me being a Sharks fan or whatever, but
oh God,
I think if the the Sharks get far, I think you'll hear the name Yannick Hansen a lot. I think he's going to fit well in their system, and I think that, they were looking for a top-line winger kind of thing, so hopefully that works out for them. And if not, then, I don't know. But I think those two are the two. I think those two teams are two of the favorites to go deep this year in the playoffs. So I think those two trades could be pretty impactful on both of those teams.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with the first thought you had about Shattenkirk. I'm not going to touch up on the Sharks thing. Obviously, if they win the Cup, they're going to look back at that deal no matter what. But the Shattenkirk deal is, honestly, in my opinion, like the biggest deal that we're going to look back on. Whether the Caps win or lose, that's going to be the deal that we're looking at. Because the Caps win, and they look at that Shattenkirk deal, got the guy, they paid the price, won the Cup that's eluded them for a while. But if they lose, then it's like, oh, you got Shattenkirk, you had your chance. Now what? Like you seriously, you have now, like, this is, in my opinion, the first time we've ever seen the Caps really make a deadline deal. I mean, their offseason moves they've done, they got Will Williams the offseason, and they got Ocean the offseason. But this is the first time we've ever seen the Caps lead. They've always led the division and lead the league come playoff time, but they've never actually made a move at the deadline. They did this year, and now there's really no excuses if they don't win the Cup. Then there's going to have to be some rethinking in the Washington Capitals organization, no matter what. Whether they want to bring back Shattenkirk or not, or looking to trading maybe some other star players, they have to rethink if they don't win the Cup this year. I was going to go Amish. What's your guy? Who's your guy that you think is going to be, that we're going to look back on and say, wow, they picked him up, what a good deal?
I mean, maybe not that great, but I think maybe, the Wild picking up Hansel was a good pickup for them. Give them a stronger push into the playoffs. Give them a Cup contention team, maybe.
Is that a Mama Tasty Cake sighting? Is that a Mama Tasty Cake?
Maybe.
Hold on. Is it?
Maybe.
I saw her. She's the man. You tell her right now that she is the man from the Power Play 904 group. She's the man. Amish, I do like your Martin Hansel idea. I think that is good.
He's a big center. He can win face-offs, and that's puck possession right there. They have a strong puck possession team, and then the rest is up to them.
All right, we're getting close to 30 minutes here, so.
What?
Yeah.
Are we trying to end?
Hey.
I don't know what that was supposed to be. I just heard a whole lot of yelling.
I think he was saying, hey, but I'm not sure.
Don't cut me off.
He said, don't cut him off.
Don't end the segment before I've had my say.
No, I'm just saying where we're sitting. Go ahead.
Give the man his 15 seconds of fame.
End the show.
I'm not trying to end it.
End it on a strong note. End it on a strong note. Get it.
TC, who you got?
I think the trade that I don't know if it's trade method. Well, obviously, the Cats Shattenkirk trade is going to have the biggest impact this season. But I think when we go into the off season, we're going to see the light. Sign a bunch of players.
TCJ threw off his head.
Gonna maybe go out some free agents. So I think those two. How was that?
That was awful. I don't think we've gotten one reaction from you that didn't sound like absolute dog shit.
It's been just a bad night.
So we are still recording here. Oh man, he hung up.
Oh no,
he's gone. He's
gone.
done.
Oh
I just
no.
think this recording though, when you post this, for all of our listeners, if you've gotten this far, just please understand we are still working out kinks. We will get there eventually.
One day.
But I think at this point, TC just needs to write out and type out all of his thoughts and opinions on what he wanted to say tonight, and then you need to put it in the caption of our podcast so that whenever TC says something, they can look down and see what he's trying to say. That's it. All right, TC's back. TC has joined the podcast back. Welcome. Are you doing better?
I don't think so.
Nope, he is not doing better.
I'm not hearing anything.
I don't even know if I can consider him saying something right now. He's just kind of. Oh, he's moving. He's mobile. All right, so, TC, can you just type what you wanted to say in terms of your guy? I think it was Shattenkirk. We'll just leave it at that. Okay.
He said, "Ignore me."
Oh, okay. So ignoring TC for a little bit.
He's listening.
So we've taken care of all the business on the deadline. We're gonna end the podcast shortly. I wanted a little bit more. Our viewers need more.
Well, damn it, we'll give them more.
And we'll give them more. More.
What do they want more of? They need to tell us this. What do
That's
you
true.
listeners want to listen to?
Viewers, if you're listening and you've gotten this far, please send us a message or post on our wall what we need to do to improve, other than TC's lag. And honestly, you can post that. You can post about TC's lag. I understand. Am I lagging?
No,
You sound good on my end.
You're fine.
Ooh. Okay. Ooh. I saw my computer glitch up a little bit. I was worried. But now, what happens? What happens? Does this deadline change any of your predictions from the beginning of the season? Obviously, our beginning of the season predictions were. I had one of the worst teams in the league, and they're second in the mediocre Atlantic.
Yeah, they're just that division's just so weak.
So now that the deadline is come and gone, teams are set. Who is in the Stanley Cup final? Big. I'm going big. Stanley Cup final. TCJ is going to say the Sharks. TCJ, who is your Eastern Conference team going up against the Sharks?
Just for fun, just for like I feel like one of these teams has to win a cup eventually, so I'll go Sharks Caps in the finals.
Ooh, bold, I like it.
I don't think it's that bold, but okay.
TC, can you text me who you think is going to be in the final? Or quickly say who you think is going to be in the final? Are you there? Amish, final, go.
You know what? I think if Tampa can make it, who knows? If they make it into the playoffs, I feel like maybe they could have a strong push. Just maybe. We'll see. Bold prediction. That's all I'm going to say. Bold prediction.
Who you got facing Tampa?
I was going to say... Man, I feel like it's going to be the Wild.
I like it.
Or maybe even Blackhawks. I feel like Blackhawks or Wild. One of those two, but I'm feeling the Wild.
But I mean, you do realize if Boudreau goes to a Game 7, he automatically loses, right?
Oh, yeah. So as long as they don't get to a Game 7, they should be okay. But as soon as Game 7 comes, I'm already chalking them up as a loss.
I like it. TC says Wild over the Pens in 6. Wow. You think so? Let me ask you this. Oh God, I wanted to ask TC a follow-up question. Damn it. Well, let's shoot for the stars. We'll try and end it on a good note. Maybe we'll get something good out of you. Hey TC, put yourself on audio instead of video. Maybe that'll help. All right, TC. Do you think the Pens? Are you Snapchatting this, TCJ? Are you taking?
No.
All right. TC. Who? Why do you say the Penguins? Why do you think the Penguins are going to come out of the East?
I just think that they are the most complete team in the East right now. And I think they've got all the experience. I mean, the Caps are there, so I think the Caps are probably their biggest rival. The Blue Jackets have the talent, but they don't have the playing experience that the Caps and the Pens do. And I'm just guessing that the Penguins beat out the Caps for that. The Rangers also might be a contender too, I think. I don't really see, I don't really see Montreal coming out. I mean, they could probably win their like division bracket or whatever, but I don't see them rivaling either the Penguins or the Caps. And I just think the Penguins probably beat out the Caps.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. That's a good point. It's so hard to say any other team coming out of the East except for the Caps because on paper they are the best team in the East, no doubt about it. But it's just so hard. Like it's like the team who cried Stanley Cup. The Caps are that team.
There's just such a big gap between the top 4 teams, then Metro, maybe the Caps, and then like the other 2 Atlantic teams and the last wild card spot. It's just I don't see any like if you're not Blue Jackets made the Rangers, you don't have the talent to play with those guys.
Yeah. I agree. I think I don't think the Blue Jackets get too far just because they haven't ever been in this spot before. But I think we all can agree that the Stanley Cup champion is going to come out of the East. Excited. I think everyone can agree on that except for you, TCJ, our resident local or our resident Western Conference guy. But my Stanley Cup. I have the Caps and the Hawks. I think I told our most devoted listener, I would think, my buddy Nick. Hey, Rangers scored! Fucking right, boys. Sorry.
Yes.
Pavel Buchnevich, who's been scratched, by the way. No, but I told my buddy who is a devoted listener, Nick. Thank you for your support, buddy. I told him if the Caps made one more deadline move after that Yurko trade, I told him if they make that deal, they're going to go to the Cup. Because that just shows to me that the Caps really, or the Hawks really believe that they can make it to the finals. Like, they have a solid shot. And like I said before, the West is wide open. And a team that has the experience that the Hawks do, they brought back Johnny Oduya. That's another thing. The trade deadline happened that you bring in all these new guys to new systems. They brought back Oduya. He knows that system well. So you bring that back, and who knows? Who knows what can happen? I mean, maybe Corey Crawford won't play like crap like he always does, but I think Hawks and Caps, and I think the Caps actually pull it off. I must say, though, TC, that was your best take of the night. We actually got to hear you and your thoughts.
We'll probably just send you audio only.
I think it's amazing how underrated the Wild are for how well they're playing. Like, how many wins they have. People still are, like, not counting them in as potential contenders.
Yeah, I think the Hawks and the Wild are I know TCJ are not going to like this. I think the Hawks and the Wild and the Sharks are the 3 best teams in the West. But I can't see it being anyone I can't see it being anyone else but the Hawks or the Wild. Just because there's good. The only reason why I don't put the Wild. What?
I could see the Sharks going back to the finals.
I just don't like saying that. I just really don't.
Do you think I like saying the Penguins are going to go back to the finals?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. You did say that catches me by surprise. I don't think the Penguins are as good as they were last year as they are. I don't think the Penguins are good now like they were last year. But
they're see. Not as dominant. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, they're not like a flashy win team like the Caps are. I don't think anyone in the West is a flashy win team. I guess maybe the Hawks are, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, like, the Penguins' run last year through March, like, that's like a once-in-a-decade kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
It's pretty nuts seeing, like, a team just go from, like, I mean, really from, like, February on through the playoffs, the Penguins just kind of steamrolled through the league.
Yeah,
they were on a hot streak.
They were, and they were untouchable. They were untouchable once they got in the playoffs. I know they took out my Rangers.
Took out my Lightning.
Yeah, it's heartbreak.
It is. It's devastating.
Yeah.
The only team that was they didn't take out was the Flyers because the Cap beat them to it.
Eddie Trudeau.
As far as whatever, but like to me, June 10th last year just didn't exist. We went from June 9th to June 11th, and hockey season was over. That's about it. And it was just like, you know.
I understand. You had to go through some heartbreak. We all have been through it. It's funny because the Flyers are the next team from our teams because the Rangers were in the finals, and the Lightning were in the finals, and the Sharks are in the finals. The Flyers are supposed to be next, but they're fucking up the trend.
Not happening.
Not happening.
Well, I mean, you're probably better off. I mean, all of our teams have lost.
We'll see. This Duffler trade might re-energize the team. Who knows?
It could. You're right.
Right now, but
I mean, the East is so tight. It's so hard to predict. I mean, it's so hard to predict who that last wild card spot's going to go to.
He can go to anyone.
It really could. Like I was saying this to you guys the other day, even the Wings could sneak back in. I mean, they were the biggest.
No way. Now with losing Vanek, they lost someone to get points for them. They're not going to score enough goals. I don't see Detroit making it this year. I feel like you can cross them off.
I'm not saying they can. They're going to do it. I'm just saying mathematically they're just as close as a lot of the other teams. But yeah, mathematically they suck. On the ice they suck. I was gonna say one last thing. I was gonna ask Graham one more thing, and I completely forgot. I think it was about the playoffs. Who is the one team? I know we're going on. How many minutes are we going on right now on this podcast?
We're getting close to 45.
45.
Digging it.
If you have made it this far, thank you. But who, if they miss the playoffs, is going to be the biggest surprise? Like if say like LA misses the playoffs, does that come as a big surprise?
I mean, if you're talking about LA, to me, it's not that big of a surprise. I
thought just in general,
a chance that they miss.
Who's the one team that misses the playoffs and it's a surprise?
I mean, if you're just talking about like expectations for the beginning of the season, if both like the Lightning and the Panthers miss the playoffs, like that'd be a little surprising to me. Like if you just look back at the beginning of the season, we thought those two teams were like locks for the playoffs from the beginning of the season, and we're in March, and both of them are out of the playoffs right now, I think.
Yeah, both of them. Toronto owns that last spot.
I'll tell you what, I think Ottawa is the surprise to be in.
Yeah.
With high expectations at the beginning of the season, Ottawa is the surprise to be in.
I think if we go back to our first podcast, I can definitely say I think TC, you also said Ottawa was going to be at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I did.
He remembers.
You know what I said? What was it? Edmonton. I said Edmonton would be the third team in from the Pacific, and they would be the first ones out once the playoffs started.
You don't think Edmonton can go far in the playoffs after you've seen them throughout the season? You don't think they'll go far?
I don't think so.
I think lack of playoff experience might hurt them, but you know what? I feel like they could potentially make it to the second round.
They are in a weak division, so that could help them.
They could.
Right now, I think they're playing the Ducks, so they could beat the Ducks.
Yeah, I think they could. I think Edmonton could beat the Ducks. It all goes down to. I think Edmonton could beat the Ducks based off goaltending. I think Cam Talbot's better goaltender than Don Gibson, and I think that's what it comes down to, if it is to happen.
Waiting for the inevitable. This is not a weak division.
Yeah, that's what we're all waiting for. I think I think he's biting his tongue a little bit after we all shit on
yeah.
Pacific.
I can see the fun in his mouth.
No, I mean, I realize that there's only like 3 good teams in that division, and that's about it. But
yeah, but
but hey, we did win the All-Star game last year and got second place in the skills competition and in the All-Star game this year. So.
One, and it gives me the nope. Wait, are we good? Oh, it gives me the finger to go. Okay, sorry about that. We had a little. Well, let's be honest. No one wanted to hear you rant about the Sharks and how good the Sharks is. But it is looking like we're coming to an end of what I thought. I think that was a great podcast for us. That was top dollar podcast for us.
The Amish was on it this time.
The technical difficulties, I think, was all right.
Hey, that sounded good. So maybe we're headed toward positives.
Maybe I can
little victories.
Not.
The slimmest of victories. TCJ, anything else you want to say, buddy? Except for, I swear, if it's about the Pacific.
No, there's nothing else I have left to say.
Okay. TC, anything else you have to lag about?
No, that's it.
That's it? Amish, great, magical Amish beard.
The beard's got nothing. The beard's got nothing.
For those listening, Amish has the best beard in the world. I don't care if you're listening and you have a beard. This guy right here, you can't see it. He has the best beard in the world. He is the Amish, and we love him. That was my final thoughts. Thank you guys for listening. We do appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook. We post a lot. Well, at the deadline we did, but follow us on Facebook anyways. Let us know what you think. Post about us. Do whatever you want. Thank you guys for listening. Spread the word. Have a good night.